Cheers, everybody, and welcome to your favorite late night Friday night hashcast. It is Variables, episode 65, with a special guest of Pedro tonight, Joe, and possibly, hopefully, maybe Genome grows in a bit. You can find us streaming every Friday night on YouTube, Twitch, and X, and of course after the show on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. We are your hosts, Frigoli, Pedro, Superior Buds. How you guys doing tonight?
Cheers, guys.
I'm doing good. Daughter was a little sick these last couple of days, and I think she's passed it on to me, but seems to be like a light cold, stuffy, runny nose, coughing, kind of shitty, but I'm doing all right.
That's how it goes, man. Little walking petri dishes.
Dude, let me tell you, it seems like
100%.
nonstop. I think Joe's daughter and son was feeling it today too.
Yeah, he didn't go to school today.
Yeah, they go to the same school, so.
Oh yeah, just passes it around. Everyone gets their turn.
Absolutely. What's going on, everybody? Cheers, everybody in chat. What do we got tonight? Well, first of all, we got some family issues with Genome growth, so hopefully he'll join us here in a while. But I think Vergroli had some excitement this last week and has some stuff to talk about. Yeah.
For sure. It's been a busy couple of weeks. And in reality, it's been a busy 6 months. So it takes, about 6 months over here to, go from planning to cloning to veg big enough to clone again, to put those into flower, to get it all the way through harvest and not cut any corners, and really try to give it your all, and really try to fill out a room, and really just try to get all the strains and have a little extra for some combos, and planning for an event the scale of Hash Bash Cup, to the scale at which I do it, because you could certainly do it a lot bigger. Trust me, you can certainly do it a lot bigger. But even to the scale at which I'm doing it, it takes, an easy 6 months of planning. And not to mention, after, that's only half the battle. It's most of the time, it's half the work is growing the plants, because of course, on top of that, there's harvesting, whether it's for flower.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that even half? I mean, it's like fucking. The growing is like 30% of it, right?
Right. There's processing. There's doing things like, fortunately I had a lot of help, and I've got a lot of thank yous to say tonight, but, doing some hand-rolled doinks, as we call them,
edibles.
Just, bro, yeah, I was making...
I saw the new ones this year, man.
I was making turp cookies, like, until, I don't know, at least midnight, like the night before. Yeah, it was a lot. A lot of not sleepless, but not a whole lot of sleep in the nights leading up to the event, especially. But I certainly have a lot of people to thank, and it's gonna probably take me the whole show to get through that. But I'll definitely start with Mrs. Frigoli, because, and I swear she's not right here holding a gun to my head. But honestly, like, there's no way I could do everything that I'm able to do without some serious support here at home. And that comes from the top with her. And that's my right-hand woman for sure. So I think that's number one. But the show itself, and honestly, like, even leading into the show, they help with packaging and kind of in the prep work. But Chuck D's Nugs and my buddy Jacob, they were in it from the start to the finish. They held down that table the whole weekend long. And I mean, it's a lot of work.
What do the crowds look like these times?
It comes in waves for sure. I wish I had actually, you know what?
Like an attendance numbers, right?
Well, Yeah, yes, that's something that would be helpful. But I don't know if she posted it on her story or shoot. One of my friends posted a time lapse video, but I think it must have been on their story because I don't see it anymore. One moment. Yeah, no, they didn't share it on their feed. It was on their story, so it's coming on, but it's definitely comes in waves. It, I think the crowd has probably gotten a little bit smaller over the last couple of years, but there's still no short. There's still portions where you're like shoulder to shoulder squeezing through, doing that kind of shuffle. You know what I mean? But there's and you know, we didn't set any fire alarms off this year. So whether that's less smoking or you know, more HEPA filters, I don't know, but yeah, that was certainly one of those kind of things. You're like, oh yeah, we didn't set off any fire alarms, I don't think this year. That's good. Fire department didn't
The
show up 6 times
benchmark
in a row.
is, did the fire alarm go off?
Yeah. Did we have to open all of the doors in the hotel? But yeah, so crowds were good though. Gosh, let's see. Red Setter Farm was there. He helped out a bunch on Saturday. And shout out to Becca too for letting me borrow him. You know, they got a fresh baby at home, so I know it's a lot to step away from that. Professor Dabbs, he held down the table a lot throughout the weekend, and you know, posting videos and creating content like he always does. Even I think just yesterday, maybe still posting content.
Yeah, I saw a lot of his content.
Yeah, and you know, it's hard to like I'd love to be able to do that, but it's I don't have the time. You know what I mean? So for him to be able to and actually his friend Orlando that was there, shout out to him. He was doing a lot of the filming, a lot of content creation. I know he's, you know, doing that in other industries and stuff too, or other markets. So you know, it's fun to be able to kind of like be able to do that in like this event space like that. Gosh, Big Jar Grows, he did the 3D printed flight cases, which I think we've already showed off, but those are a big hit. It was one of each flavor. This is like one of the prototypes, so it's only got the 5 in there. We end up going with 7, but those are cool.
Those are awesome.
7, I saw 8.
8? Oh well, yeah. There was more than 7 flavors. There's 6. There was okay. Well, let's just do this. Shout out to Superior Buds. There you go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they turned out good.
I'm trying not to show my booty crack, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, they turned out great, man. These shirts turned out absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, those are the 6 strains. Plus, we threw, you know, one of the actually it was the only triple blend we did, so I figured that was a good one to throw in there, which is the citrus cream, which is raspberry parfait, clementine, and cobra milk.
That fucker is good.
That's awesome.
We took it just because it's filling some blanks. We took some drives, I guess we'll call it, and I got myself some Fagroli terps over here. Let me just be clear. I think I've taken 3 dabs now, and all of them have literally made me lay down. The last one was more asthmatic, but the first 2 were literally, oh shit. So great effing job. I think I tried the citrus cream, and I don't remember what the other one was I tried, but I'm going to try the clementine here. I'm a little scared because literally they made me fucking lay down, so I'm hoping we're going to be good. I'm not going to do the blender, though, because Jesus Christ. But I'm going to go in on some of this clementine over here, so.
No need to overdo it. I got to shout out both of you guys, obviously, for the support here with the Variables podcast. You know, it's obviously a driving force. That looks fun. A nice little buy. I want to drop that whole thing in a dab rig right there, Spear. And the MBGS crew, and the MBGS crew and entirely. They've been obviously huge supporters, and were there, like Tara and Troy, that were there to support me. I mean, just everyone that came through. There's people from all over the country that show up for this event, and I see a lot of familiar faces that I've seen over the last now decade plus, that have just supported me through and through, and it's pretty amazing to witness. But I could not have done it without the support of my team. I mean, it's a crazy weekend. It's a crazy amount of work. They crushed it. We had a lot of fun. We ate great food all weekend long. So much good food. And honestly, okay, so I'm not huge on those like free hotel continental breakfasts that they have at like every hotel nowadays, it seems. But I've had some pretty good ones lately, man. Like, I was pretty impressed with those. But yeah, man, it was a lot, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm just very thankful. I feel very blessed, and I'm looking forward to some dabs. I'm looking forward to some more feedback from Pedro on the dabs. And hey, Joe, what are you a grower, man?
No.
Are you a smoker?
Yes. My dad
Are you
was
a dabber?
I've done it a few times. I had a nice little incident with him. Was it last week or the week before last?
Something like that.
Oh my God! He gave me, told me to keep pulling until that thing starts spinning.
I had him hit a fucking blender
Pedro.
like a dumbass. I know,
Pedro.
I know.
And I've never had done that before with such
To
a
be-
big hit.
To be clear, he said he's been smoking some of my rosin almost every day, so I just misinterpreted a little bit. But go
I'll
ahead.
tell you, that shit put me in another dimension. I was very uncomprehensive. He saw my face where I was like, I was blank. And he says, man, you can't leave. I was like, I can't leave. I can't. I was so in a different direction. Never felt like that in my life.
Going south.
Yeah. Scared me. Really, it really did scare me.
We got him back, though. It ended up being all right.
And I mean, I'm a veteran. I did 8 years. I'm very structured and disciplined, and the mentality to be able to control certain emotions and your feelings. Mm-hmm. It was different ball game with that. Different ball game.
Yeah, you got another one of these down here. Speaking of rosin, though, I'll be right back because I don't have it right here next to me, and I want to take a dab. I'll be right back.
I wasn't sure if I was going to take a dab, literally, because
how did that happen?
Because yeah, right. I'm not joking when I say these things put me on my ass, dude. And I don't know if it's probably mostly just different terps, terpene levels, and me hitting the goddamn blender all the time.
Yeah,
that son of a bitch is a lot.
I've actually I've been playing with my different rigs and banger combinations and trying to find the one that doesn't fucking annihilate me anymore. It's I ended up on a weird combo and I realized I was hurting myself because I was using the wrong combo.
Yeah, there's the variables there between the air draw and the rig and the airflow of the banger or the slurper or the blender that you're using,
or the cap even, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I changed to the little one from
I've got a very restrictive blender over here that I really don't like, but I have that mini Captain rig, and it works perfectly for that because the minis you don't want to rage, and this one gives you enough restriction to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I like a lot of restriction. That's what I've kind of come to realize the past couple of days. I tend to pull too hard if I need it to hold me back a little. So the marble with the Turbolian with the drilled side holes and then a pearl, like it seems to be.
Yeah, that was where Joe went south. He was hitting the blender and I was like, you got to make that center thing spin. And he was already halfway through his draw. So then he hits it harder and it was, yeah. It was.
I got to agree on both the restrictive airflow. I like a more restrictive airflow, and I'm experiencing that recently with my cheap ass bangers, or not bangers, well, that too, but cheap ass carb caps because I lost my carb cap. I don't know where it is, my favorite one, and that's just is what it is. So carb capping with other crappy carb caps with way too much airflow. But on the other side of things, right after I left Pedro, you mentioned about they're hitting you harder, and that could be because of the terps or whatever. And I think that's what it is, man. I think it's just a different terpene profile. It's probably something that you're not used to, especially this type of seemingly terpene profile, or at least strain type that doesn't seem to wash well. It tends to be too greasy or something like that, which are, I would say, probably 80% of my strains. Like, it might just be kind of like unfamiliar to you. And I experienced a similar thing when I smoke some of these rosins, or these like super gassy, I don't know, I call them like the OG types, or the breaths,
The
those
gassy
type
gets
of.
me. That's the one that
It's,
messes me up the most.
I mean, I'm so used to the citrusy hazes that when I get something like a giant jar of terps, just chucked at me from way over there, this 4-gram jar of jungle breath, I just have to dive deep, and I've been enjoying the ever living crap out of it. But let me tell you what, we gotta keep spinning. This knocks me on my ass, man.
Yeah, right back at you. Jesus.
It's just such a different mix.
Bro, let me tell you, the whole crew, we did a dab, like did a debrief kind of meeting. I think it was night 1, and did a debrief meeting. No, I don't know if it's night 1 or night 2, but had our little meeting, passed around the dab rig. I think we only did 1 dab of that rosin, and it was night for all of us. Man, we slept hard that night, instantaneously almost.
Yeah, all of yours have seemed to put me down so far. I haven't found a sativa, if you will, in there yet. For me, we've had this conversation many a times, but
I had to have sent you the Clement Lime. Do you have Clement Lime?
I have Clementine.
Look for a dirty yellow looking jar that might like the labels. No, do you have raspberry parfait? Have you tried that one?
That was the first one that kicked my
Yeah.
holy Jesus, dude. I mean, and I seriously pretty much had to go take a fucking nap.
It does the opposite for me, man, and that keeps you so. It's like literally like fuel to have conversations.
And
So I was
then
gonna say, try that one.
and I tried the squirt, which did the same. This
Oh,
one
you got
seems to be
squirt though.
this
Oh
one seems
man.
to be okay so far.
So okay, so do you notice one thing about the squirt that's different from everything else?
It's
You just look
way
at the bottom
more
of the jar.
wet, way more wet sugar than the other ones. Like I said, I think we had some travel damage here, but yeah, way more.
Is that the? I'm gonna point something out. Flip them all. Well, maybe not flip them all upside down, but you know what I mean. Like if you look at the
I have.
bottom of
Yep.
all of them, there's one thing to me that distinctly stands out.
I mean, just physically looking at it, it fills the bottom of the jar rather than the other ones.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. I'm just gonna let you know what I was thinking. Color. It's significantly darker than the other ones. Like several
Yeah,
shades darker.
yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
And I'm not saying it's a
I don't.
bad thing
Yeah,
or
I
a
don't
good
take
thing
that
or
as a bad
whatever,
thing
but
at all. So I just kind of
it's just something I noticed, and I wanted to see if you noticed it too. And it was not among your first two, so we may have got there eventually. But um, it's it's I think I try to push everything to like 9 weeks, and some of my strains just don't go 9 weeks. Like a lot of them do, but not all of them want to. Um, that one I'm thinking is closer to 7 weeks than it is like 8 weeks. And I
Okay.
don't think I've ever scoped it, because I couldn't tell you the last time I scoped a plant. And raspberry parfait and squirt are only like, I don't know, 18 months old in my garden or something like that, maybe less. I think it was like November 2023. So Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of harvesting it when I feel like harvesting it, and I'm thinking, if I'm trying to do it consistently across the board with the maturity of the trichomes, I might have to harvest that one earlier.
Yeah, dude, there's some variables there as to when to harvest, commercially, you got to start thinking of how many harvests you can get done. And another variable is how you want the medicine to react, or there's a lot of
Mhm.
variables there.
I like taking mine longer, but I don't have to worry about production value. So I like Frenchie's methodology of, let the fruit ripen so it falls off the tree. So
I don't hold that same philosophy. And I also am not growing for production value for sure. I know a lot of, obviously commercial production does, and they really just want fast flowering strains with high volume output, even if that's at the cost of flavor or many other things. I'm not sure where I was going with that.
I was waiting to see where you were going.
Squirt. What's funny about Squirt though is, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. I don't know if it's this show, the other MBGS. Like, I know on one of them, I for sure was talking about how it's like on the bottom of the chopping line. It's like, or top of the chopping. It's at the bottom of the totem pole. And like first to be chopped out of my garden if I find something that like, is better than it, and I feel the need to reduce my strain count, right? But I had such a great response from it this past weekend that it's like, well, I guess I'm growing more Squirt, guys.
Yeah, I liked it. I have nothing bad to say about anything I've tried yet at all.
Speaking of which, I still haven't done the stab yet.
Oh shit! I was just asking Joe over here as he was looking through the selection here what he prefers, whether it's the sweet, the fruity, or the old school kind of gas. And he said the
You should
gas.
let him. You should let him smell them all, because the
I,
nose knows. That's
he
what I
just
told.
he
Is that
just
what you
did.
did?
Yeah,
Okay,
he just
I
did.
wasn't paying attention.
Did you pick out? Was there one that stood out more than the
Yeah.
others? Oh, that's fine. We'll be back. We got to find it.
Got any flavor palette changes lately, Superior Buds?
no, been enjoying some of the who is I don't even know if it's LA Haze, I think is their brand up in here now.
Well, I like all things haze.
Yeah, they've got some really good flavors based on Sunday Driver that I've been enjoying. Those have they're just a different palate for me from normal. So it's not citrusy, it's not gassy. I don't know what it is. It's more cakey, I guess.
Okay, it's kind of like a
Yeah, I don't know how to describe. I asked the
Is
wife,
it like
and
a
she's like, "It smells like weed." I'm like, "Oh, well, that doesn't fucking help," you know.
can you envision or palletize for me soft fruit? Does that make sense to you?
like
Like not candy fruit, not sweet fruit, not real fruit,
fresh fruit.
like fresh fruit
Mm.
that like you're almost just smelling. You know what I mean? You're not like tasting it. It's like you're just getting like the
Like when you cut cantaloupe
aroma of
and
it.
it just.
No, I don't know. I hate cantaloupes. I
Oh,
couldn't
you
even
get.
tell you what
Of
that
course,
smells
I
like.
picked the one fucking fruit, right?
Those are for the chicken's breast.
Berries or something. Yeah, no, I get you.
I get that flavor a lot. A lot of these like cakey and creamy and ice cream cake, the fucking
Right.
not so much
It,
pies, I don't think, but the cakes.
it's sweet, but not candy sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe that because it's just still sweet, but it's not.
Soft fruit.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fake sweet.
One of the things that Pedro has talked about in the past that lends itself to this discussion is the sharpness of terpenes, right? He talks about how clementine has a sharpness to it. And I think that lends a lot to what you and I are talking about this like soft fruit versus like candy sweet fruit, right? I think that level of sharpness brings up that sweetness and that candy level, and then maybe the tartness and these other things. Whereas it's like the terpenes that you find in those other profiles, I think, are what kind of tone it down and bring it into this, like, I don't know if it's myrcene or beta caryophyllene or what it is, but there's got to be a
little more
couple of them in there.
balance.
Yeah, it's just got to be probably what it is. It's probably just more balance. It's like, okay, chill on the fucking D-limonene for a minute.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, you got so many, senses that are able to fire at once, and if they're all just like, here's fucking citrus, just 2000%. There's nothing else. There's no pepper in the back, or there's no,
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull this up because I've got this new favorite. Well, it's one of my new favorite snack mixes, and it's called Shale Snacks Pomegranate Pistachios. I'm gonna try to pull this up for you so I can share it. And it's a flavor combo, and they have a ton of them. These are all very well done. The first one I ever came across was this purple one that you see in front, and it's like the 2-sentence story on the back is fantastic about how it compares, like, it all started. How does it go? It all started with grandma's maple pecan pie, and then it just like
Right.
you're like, oh shit, that's what that tastes like, But this one right here, this pistachio one, you brought up pepper, and it just, I mean, it's almonds, cherries, pomegranate flavored apples, lemons, and black peppers. Of course,
Yeah.
there's pistachio in there too. And it's like, it's this sweet, nutty, fruity, peppery, like all of it is in there, man. And it is
That
phenomenal, dude.
sounds awesome. Nice little trail mix.
I'm fucking wrecked again. I'm glad I did a small one. It was the Cobra Parfait, which I agree is very loud.
That's a combination of Cobra Milk and Raspberry Parfait. So it's those two kind of creamy like strains I have, if you will, or what I would push into that category if I had to push two of them in there. One of them's more strawberry raspberry, and one of them's more like Fruity Pebbles Tricks, and you combine them together, and it's pretty solid. It's a heavy hitter.
Do you combine in the wash, if you
materials
will?
column? Yeah, the materials column. So what comes out on the other side?
Right?
And yes, and here's the thing: I don't know how important this is for either of us, but I can almost guarantee you there's some level of, big words here, molecular bonding or something to that nature when we're doing a chemical extraction versus a mechanical extraction. And I wonder if, like, what the difference is if I just took a dab of Cobra Milk and a dab of Raspberry Parfait and I put them in the banger at once versus taking the two strains, mixing in the column, and chemically processing them into the same extract that's going into the banger, right? Like equivalent amounts, everything. I don't know.
Well,
There seems like there's going to be some differences.
Yeah, and to that point, if you process them separate and mix them in the jar and let them cure together, like you could almost have three different mixes that might.
Oh, I bet you we can find more variables to find some more mixes here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's more of just a homogenization. Boy, that word, that Clementine, Jesus. Because there's no chemical, there's no really chemical reaction going on until you press, and it's just heat. And then after that, you can pretty much just whip it together, and then you're questionably getting it mixed. So I prefer to wash it together if I'm going to mix something.
Okay, so it's not just the pressing together; it is the washing together. And why is that? Because I feel like what you just said about there's not really like much of a reaction or anything going on there until you press it under heat. That makes me think that we could take different washes or different, even micron sizes from different washes and all these things, right? And kind of blend them together once they've maybe been sieved, or I don't know at what point, how.
Yeah, that's a good point. Once it's freeze dried, I mean, if you've got them separate, excuse me, you could actually 60-40. You could mathematically
could choose,
proportion. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have
That's a lot of variables.
right. You're gonna have a lot of control. I was gonna say, but yeah, you're gonna be creating a lot of variables there. You better get that freaking spreadsheet out, Superior.
I mean, you can do that on the wash side as well, but then yields become a variable.
Yeah. What would be interesting
That's
is being
fair.
able to like press them separate and get the COAs and then run percentages and see if the percentages come through as the math says it should based on the COAs that you have. Like that's just
what
a
I'm
formula.
saying.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
right.
you
Like
can start figuring that out.
Here's the problem is we don't have accurate enough lab testing
The
to even
fucking
get there.
COAs
So
aren't
it's like,
great. Yeah. Plus or minus 10 fucking percent. Yay.
yeah, dude. Oh my god.
That's
Sounds like
nothing more
another
than a
variable.
fucking yes.
Yeah, it's almost too many variables to even consider doing this study, let alone considering the fucking expenses for it, let alone considering it a scientific study. Like there's so many issues there with that, but hopefully one day soon we'll get there with some sort of standardized, accurate, accessible
we need,
lab testing.
We need a really small home unit so that we can just boop boop and it just poops out a little receipt.
Oh, I'm sure it's being thought of and or worked on.
I mean the software, right? Like with thinking AI and stuff like that, that'll get there probably pretty quick and pretty cheap, but it's whatever hardware it's going to take. You know what I mean? That's where, especially now, that's where things are going to get maybe a little bit more expensive, come in the future, just more expensive than they already are. Remind me to tell you about something after the show. We're racing against those tariffs over here.
I'm like, clear. It's nice.
I bet it must be nice. Oh, actually, that I heard recently that you can't source a T-shirt from that's made in the United States of America, like at scale. Anyway, maybe not. Maybe like off Etsy.
I mean, it depends on what you consider at scale, because I would consider us
your
at
scale.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a cut and sew.
Do the materials though, like the linens or the cloth or whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's coming
it's
from
the
overseas,
millwork.
right?
It's the textile itself.
Okay. That's the word, textile.
Right. It's the textile. Yes. The fabric, the cloth.
So you're able to assemble them like we assemble cars, but it's like the part. That's
exactly
all I was getting at. Is
the raw material.
Mm-hmm.
You can, but
don't do that.
Yeah, it's not cost effective to do here. American manufacturing.
Yeah, so we charge so many tariffs. Yeah.
But I mean, that's why it's just American manufacturing's rough.
So did you guys like buy another warehouse across the street just to load up like earlier this year, or like how's that?
Oh, we had another warehouse we had a competitor that went out of business, and
nice
bought all their inventory. Like we're
that's probably the smart way. Just get the inventory that's here already, right?
Yeah.
But even
also,
if you have to ship
a lot of our
across the United
stuff is
States,
sourced from proper things. It actually works out better for us. Like all our competitors were able to undercut us before with labor and all that. Now they can't. They closed a loophole for under $25 products. And
okay.
I'm
not familiar with that, but I'm gonna have to.
Coming from Mexico. So that's why all of like a lot of manufacturing that was in America moved down there during all of this. It was cheaper, basically. So it forced us to innovate, but just got to innovate faster than they can fucking race to the bottom. It's rough.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I was bringing up the whole tariff thing because I'm getting emails now from suppliers for like packaging and stuff like that, right? That are like, be aware, this is going on. Price might go up. We don't have any news yet, but like, because I know there's like on the water clauses and stuff like that. And it could be, 90 days, 3 months, something like that before the products that actually arrive here are getting tariffed,
Right.
But I've seen tariffs being applied already, or at least price gouging.
Yeah. Oh, of course. People are trying to. There's always some asshole who's going to try to capitalize, right?
Yep. Gesundheit.
Thank you. I've been saving that one for like a half hour. I've been trying to get it out.
Well, better than a fart, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. That's our boy's favorite thing right now. That's his phase right now. Everything is a fart and it's
Is
hilarious.
he brushing them on you and stuff, like walking by doing like drive-bys, crop dusting?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Still
He'll
fart
literally roll over and fart on you and then just laugh about it. Like, dude, come on.
Awesome.
So with Hash Bash, it's just the event at the hotel then all weekend, or Hash Bash Cup, I guess I should say. Sorry,
dude, that's that.
They
So
don't
yeah,
get-
the Hash Bash Cup is essentially 2 hotels that get fully rented out. One of the hotels is really more or less just lodging, like what a hotel is for, really.
I was gonna say, do they keep it like one is party friendly and one is quiet friendly?
I think so. I don't even think I've ever been into the other hotel, to be honest with you. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't think
Like, I don't sleep. Why would I go over there?
Yeah. So, but in the main hotel, there's a stage and there's live music going on all week, and like totally all sorts of different bands. There's jazz bands, there's like poetry, there's freaking rap and rock and reggae and just everything. There's a pool, an indoor pool at this hotel. So there's like a pool party. There's glass competition, or there's a glass room with a bunch of glass vendors, and then there's like a RC derby with glass blown RC cars, if that makes sense.
Holy crap.
You do you not know about that?
No, I've not seen that. That sounds
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Pedro will like that one too.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is probably one of the there it
I
is.
just came back. Sorry, that's busy night. What's going on?
So this is one of the miniature, like the events within the event at Hash Bash Cup. We were just talking about kind of the scale of it and all that. So this is my buddy 248 Glass. He's a glass blower here in Michigan. He posted up this video.
Guy watching. Sometimes you gotta.
Well, that's probably copyrighted music. So this
That is a glass demo derby.
I was going to say, are those rigs?
Yes, these are hand blown RC cars. So they're not just rigs. They're
Shit.
they're made to be RC cars. They're all glass except the electronics and the wheels and the motors, whatever. But they are
just last man standing.
Smashing. Yes,
Wow.
pretty sure. Now, if I can,
who are the artists involved, or is it just?
Dude, I wish I could tell you. I wasn't there to see it. There's probably, what was it, like 8-10 of them there. I'm pretty sure 248 Glass is one of the drivers. If I can somehow find another video or more videos, I will share them here. But there's a bunch of them out there where you just hear, it's crazy.
This is what's got a lot of my attention over here, by the way, you guys. She's just running around. The daughter doesn't want her upstairs, and she whines, and so she's
hanging out,
wanting daddy, and driving me nuts down here. So
puppy lap time's the best, though. They only stay that size for a couple months.
Yeah, for real.
We looked back at when Ace was a year ago since we got him, and he was all tiny, and now he's like massive and runs over the kid and knocks him down. He's a freight train.
It's funny when you watch him go from not being able to climb upstairs to just running and jumping off the couch, and it's the progression. It's cool to watch.
It was terrifying in my house. So my stairs are scary enough for adults. I have solid wood stairs, and it's a UP, so I don't, we're a little lax on code. So my stairs to my office might be a little steep, and there's no handrail. And when he was a puppy and first went down, I mean, he can't stop. There's no carpet. It's solid wood. He hits them, and
there's a door at the bottom.
Oh yeah, a solid door like that, a fire door that's like 3.5
It's a
inches
fire
thick.
door. It's a fucking fire
Yeah,
door.
I got a baby gate up top the stairs for sure.
That's
Yeah.
we had the baby gate in my office for the longest time because we'd let him come up here, but you got to close the gate because that's terrifying.
Yeah. Did you
But now
ever
full,
put a
full
railing in?
speed. Sorry.
I believe it. That he's a friggin' little miniature horse now. But did you ever put a railing in?
No.
Of
I do
course
need
not.
one
Why?
at some point. Yeah. Like I'm kind of at that point to where I'm reaching for it every now and then.
You did just hit that big 5-0, you know what I mean?
I know
Like,
I got that textured wall though, man. I can just it's like a rock climber. You just got to use the fingertip
climb
strength.
up the sides, yeah.
It's all
As long
tongue
as
and
you can still
groove.
do that, you know. Yeah.
That Clementine was kind of a creeper for me, man. Like right away, I was like, I think I'm okay. I'm glad I didn't hit the blender. Now I'm, having trouble talking and putting things together.
I'm just over here yawning, trying to hide it because of this jungle breath, man. I don't know why I decided to do that 30 minutes into the show after telling you it just knocked me out of my ass the other time.
I honestly didn't know if I wanted to dab any of yours. She's getting under the desk. But I knew everybody wanted me to, and I wanted to taste it, but I was nervous of what it would do to me live.
Effects.
Yeah, cheapers.
Fair enough.
It's funny how just a profile completely different than your normal will just it's a crapshoot. You don't know what the results are going to be till you try it.
And it's like it's a beauty and a shame. You know what I mean? It really is. Like it's a gift and a curse because like everyone reacts so differently from this plant, and the plant grows so freaking differently on its own. I mean, like the amount of variables we're talking about here, from growth to consumption, is gotta be more brain cells than we got left, right?
Gotta be. Yeah.
And it can easily be a oops for a rookie or, an inexperienced consumer. Definitely start slow, my God.
Even worse is you can have something that to you, like you said, it just, hey, it's a nice little mellow buzz. And your friend's like, oh, that's great. I need to get some sleep. And here, smoke some. And then he's like, fuck, it just gives me a shitload of energy. And it's the wrong effects.
I was
different.
I was doing the Terp Wars, and I don't know if it's still up here or not, but I was doing the Terp Wars. And along the way, I tried one, I think it was number 6. Got me so incredibly paranoid. I literally wrote paranoid across the top of the jar just because I wanted to warn myself that, holy shit, dude, this one's.
When we did the Bang tea recipe from Frenchie about 6-7 years ago, I had an old biker friend of mine over, and I made a whole shitload of the tea. And then, I was going to pour us full-on cups of tea. He's like, well, let's just do like little shots. We don't know how strong this is. I'm like, all right. So we did it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's a little more strong than I thought it was going to be. And he's like, well, I'm going to head home just in case. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, well, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to go home. So he went home. Next day,
leave me here, man. Just leave me.
Next day he called me and he's like, dude, I cleaned my whole fucking house. I'm like, what the hell, man? We went downstairs to watch Back to the Future, and I passed the hell out through the whole damn movie. I don't remember any of the damn movie, and I felt funny for 2 days.
That's why the sativa indica thing is generally BS.
It's so wild how different it was for the two of us, and it being an edible too. How you digest it, that's another variable. How your body.
I've had to argue that in the commercial industry so goddamn much because everything needs to be labeled, and trying to educate versus trying to comply, it's just it's rough. I think we've gone extensively into that set of variables before.
I mean, I think Vergorley said it best earlier though too. It's like, but our testing isn't even great right now. So, how can we really rely on a framework? How can we build a framework when the foundation's fucking mud still?
Yeah, you have to have a solid baseline, a solid starting point.
Yeah, I mean, if 5 labs test my shit and I get 5 different results, that's a problem.
That's a ridiculous problem. Yeah.
It just,
Plus or minus what? What should the variable be there? Because plus or minus 10%, in my opinion, is unacceptable. But should it be
totally.
1%, half percent, 3%,
I mean,
0.1%?
well,
We're
okay.
talking terps or
Just anything, percentages,
I mean, I guess if I'm looking at it I mean, if I'm home, I want it exact. But if I'm really looking at it commercially, because just what I know now,
Like what's acceptable?
I would say a
And
quarter to a half of a percent wouldn't bother me a hell of a lot.
Well, so I would say, for me, I agree with a half would be what I would say. But you also have to remember that's plus or minus, which is a full percentage point. So it's a half on each side.
so I would personally love to see testing to that level. And I think that is only done with something like a final product like we're creating, which is a homogenized concentrate. Because with flour, you are not going to get that level of accuracy among a 40 light room of all the same strain, right? It is going to be plus or minus 10%, probably pretty consistently throughout that
And
room.
your degradation is going to be a lot
Also true.
different on the
Also
flour.
true.
So
That's post
I
testing
mean,
and everything, right?
yeah. I think that's what bothers me the most with the testing is that we've distilled it down as much as possible to eliminate the flour variable and all, and then the testing is still like, well, we're still all over the fucking board. So
we're like, we know what you should be doing with the science. You're just not doing it with the science.
Right. Somebody do the
science. Do the science better. Then they'll be like, yeah, okay, for $15,000, we'll do that.
Yeah. I know that's the other thing is the testing has to become more cost effective while also becoming more accurate. So it's the impossible task almost, generally if you're dialing something in, the cost is going to go up because it increases labor, materials, power use. Something is you're putting more in to get that detail, usually time. That would be the goal, though.
I mean, we can dream, right?
Yeah, I want a Farmer Freeman for my full-on test.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ever since I've used him, that's just been like, I can't go without it. I pop too much seeds and I ain't popping FEMs or autos, so.
Ooh, I want to show you guys this beautiful
Speaking
hand-rolled doink. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, before we jump real quick, it's almost 420, and Farmer Freeman, now's the time to buy tests if you use him. There's 2 times a year you can buy from him, and you'll get the best deal of the time, and that's you could stock up on a whole year for $20-$30. At least it used to be. I don't know how much it is now. I don't think there's any tariffs on white freaking envelopes.
And I was gonna say, use discount code variables. Just punch that in a bunch of times. He'll be like, "Why is everyone typing in variables?" And then maybe he'll give you guys a discount code. Is that how that works, Pedro? I'm not really sure.
I mean, I have kind of pushed that before, yeah, with different companies for sure.
They're looking at their analytics. That's going to be one of those things that they're going to be like, "What?"
And
they gotta be paying attention.
And I get messages asking where they can find Eden's product, and I kind of give them different places, but it goes quick. I'm like, just ask for it. If they get enough people to ask for it, they're gonna buy it.
That's actually so. Back in the days where caregivers were allowed here in Michigan to supply the dispensaries, as they were called back then, not provisioning centers as they are nowadays. That was the whole idea from our perspective, was like, no, if you want it, just ask your local dispensary to stock it, because we will find a way to make it available there. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to be able to access this medicine. I don't want you to have to drive halfway across the state or across the Mackinac Bridge or something, just to be able to access it. Like, it should be more accessible. It should be more available, even if it is in small quantities. Like, it should just be at least somewhat accessible. It doesn't have to be taking over every freaking loom or whatever.
It would be so freaking cool to have like a statewide logistics network that just is responsible for distributing. It's exactly what you do with normal products, right? You take
Right.
in product from customers, you move it through the system, and you dump it off at places that sell it to the end user. Oh,
Listen,
fucking.
they're backdooring a lot of product in this state.
Been a lot of bust for that shit.
Yeah, and it's coming from out of state, it's coming from in-state, it's coming from, I don't know, I have no idea where. It's just all over, right? But it's getting backdoored, and that's affecting the bottom line and a lot of things of our market here in Michigan. And I know it's not just here in Michigan, it's happening in a lot of different states, but if like you have all these people bringing in out of state product, and you're not allowing the people that are doing it right within the state that actually want to be involved in this industry, like, you just totally shut them out. So why don't you give them an opportunity to fill those gaps? Because if there's clearly a desire for more inventory somehow still, and there's clearly a need for quality products, like, how are we going to fill that gap? Because it seems like that's one of those areas where it is inaccessible, it's unobtainable, it takes too much resources or too much investment to get to. Why aren't we filling in that gap? You know what I mean? And I know the answers, but like,
right, yeah, it's the same challenge every state's went through, and we've never seen like the perfect framework yet.
Yeah, and it seems like we keep building on like the backbones of the last one, but no one's got it right yet. Like, how long does that take?
It's getting. I mean, when we did our law, I thought we were doing a pretty good job. I really, I knew we were going to have a separation happen. I knew how business was going to happen. That side was just expected. But I still enjoyed the freedom that it did give us, which was like shit we should have had. I never thought we would have, though. That was a total shocker to me that it really was. It's,
well, the beauty of the Michigan market, and the one thing that, like, I have to give it some credit on, is it's like the fastest turnaround in history on cannabis ever. We went from, I believe, December 1st-ish, December maybe even 8th. I think it was like December 9th we flipped it, or something like that. 2019, I think, or 20. Maybe I think we voted it in 18 and pushed it through 18, on 19. So I think 19. Yeah, 19 we went from technically recreationally illegal here. So unless you had a med card, it was just the same as the Fed shit. You know what I mean? It was illegal here in Michigan in the beginning of December of 2019. And then 4 months later, the pandemic hits, and we become an essential business, and are among the few to not only go from that federally illegal status, if you will, to essential, but we also were able to push through something that no dispensary owner in their right mind thought was a good idea before this happened. But we allowed for curbside pickup and delivery, or drive-throughs, and eventually deliveries.
Yep.
And it was like, free the weed, baby. And a lot of people made a lot of money really quickly. It was crazy. It was like
very
the gold
wild
rush paid off for some. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
6 months.
And I mean, the deliveries were wild to me. Like, when it first when medical first passed, and I drove down 8 Mile in Detroit, and there was just drive through and pop up. And I mean,
well, hold on. Let's be clear. That was only if you were going eastbound, because if you're going westbound, you were on the Macomb County side, so you were not seeing any of those.
No,
So
exactly.
Yes, it was only on the south side of 8 Mile.
Right, different side of 8 Mile. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, county lines and all that.
But it was like almost like the Wild West when medical went through, and I was like, it was weird to me. Every damn sign. Do you remember all the billboards of all of a sudden like learn how to be a cannabis entrepreneur and cannabis college? And it was just all of a sudden overnight, it was everywhere, and I'm like, holy crap, this can't be good. This isn't what we wanted. We didn't want this. Like, it was. Rec came and I was up here, and then it was just like stores popping up and delivery happening, and it was curbside. Like you said, I did curbside. That was the weirdest thing, to just sit outside and have someone like a fucking Sonic, like I'm ordering a burger. They bring me a bag of weed.
It's like your old fucking parking lot drug deal, except it's legal.
Working in the industry, I get asked to fulfill orders on my way home sometimes, and the delivery there is just weird to me too, because I'm driving, just driving around with a bunch of shit in my trunk. It's just, I'm legal and everything and registered and blah blah blah, but that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
When you start really thinking about those details, it's got to be done. So how does it get done? Well, there's one of the ways. It's just strange. We're pretty good here. We're not Wild West in Colorado anymore, but it's still just a little weird.
It's still weird to me that I can just drive around with a whole shitload of weed in my car and I don't sweat anymore. Like, I still kind of freak out about cops every little, but not like I used to. It's not like sit up straight and.
Did you just see me sit up straight?
Yep.
Well, the weird thing with me is
the show talk we gotta have.
When I drive back and forth, I've got a 2-hour commute one way, and I work in the industry. I press rosin, I smell, and so there's another caveat. I have my card which says I work in the industry, and we all know it. Well, maybe we don't, but smell is not a what do they call it? Viable reason. Probable. Yeah, there you go. So technically, but it still does bring up complications.
That just happened 5 days here, or 5 days.
I was going to say, that's just a brand new thing here.
Oh, wow. Well, that's been here for quite a while.
And you know what? One of the reasons the legislature brought up was because there's so many people working in the industry. It's like, if they're coming home from their jobs, you're just going to start arresting these people because they smell like weed, even though they maybe don't smoke, don't have shit in their car, don't touch it. Like,
search them.
Yeah, we're just going to blow constitutional rights right out of the water just because of this one thing. Like, smell. That's what.
It's like, is there any drugs in the car? Well, probably a 1/4 gram or so on the bottom of my left foot. Like
yeah. From my job though, that like I pay taxes on, and that they pay taxes. Like, it's approved by the people that pay you, and like what are we doing here?
It's like stepping on a piece of bread. It's just different industry. Carried a little home on the shoe.
We got the over the interstate signs, billboards that say drive high, get a DUI or something, to that effect. And my buddy and I that travel together, we always think, but Xanax is fine, Percocet's fine, as long as it's prescribed to you, right? But so
doesn't it say on those bottles though not to operate heavy machinery or something? Like,
yeah,
I think it's kind of the same thing where it's like,
but I don't know if that's
bottle,
maybe if it goes to court or something, but it's just, yeah.
I get it though. There's not like there's like OWI, DUI tests and like sobriety tests and all that, but and I know they're developing. Okay, so this you talked about when things were changing, like when like it felt like it was too good to be true, and all of a sudden like things started to change. The moment I knew recreational was going to be a scary time is when we had I got invited to a meeting, and it was for a lab that was involved in lobbying, I guess, if you will, for like the new rule sets. And they had like 2 people that were on this like panel of people that were helping write the rule sets and all this stuff. And they start telling me about how they're, going to be basically the same way that they can take what's the narcotics like Vicodin, oxycodone, what are those considered, that like class of drugs, like the painkillers?
I am ignorant to that.
I was thinking not barbiturates, right?
No.
What's the
Wow, we are all ignorant to this.
Yeah, well, we don't. Yeah,
I'm just
opioids. Thank
Opioids,
you. Thank
yeah.
you.
I'm like I
you.
was on fucking a shitload of opioids. That's why I changed to cannabis.
That's why I can't remember. No, yeah. No, 100%. That's the same.
Getting dizzy
opioids.
getting dizzy off the pills is, we all know, the reason that I started doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So that class, oh shit, dude, I lost my train of thought. Okay, back it up.
Yeah, I don't know where. I remember AJ talking here in chat, wondering if you could get, arrested for driving under the influence of a prescribed.
That's what it was. The urinalysis thing, the lobbying, the labs. Okay. So sorry, totally lost my train of thought. Side effect of the medication. It's not the opioids. So this group that was planning on starting a lab and lobbying the legislature, whomever, whatever groups they're involved in, to write this legislation or at least make proposals for the new legislation. They told me that they're going to take the same technology that they use in urinalysis that they're currently using for urinalysis to determine not only how many opioids are in your system, but how much you took and when you took them, because of the, I don't know, whatever science they've got figured out, right? They said they're going to take that same technology and apply it to cannabis so that when it comes to DUIs and OWIs, they will be able to tell on a roadside test when the last time and how much you consumed and how much is your system. And I'm looking at these fucking guys just like backing out of the room. Nope, not involved, dude. Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
They were just anticipating a market demand for something like that, like
And
trying to get ahead of it.
Sure. Well, it's a government contract, right?
Yeah.
And so those are pretty lucrative.
Well, they used to be, at least.
Exactly. They fucking 2025 came fucking rolling through, right? Used to be very lucrative. And they bought a lab, they bought the technology, right? It was business.
Yeah, it's wild.
Someone that came in, bought the scientists, bought the science, bought the fucking technology, wanted to make a big investment to expand it, and then essentially lobby themselves into a position in which they could control it. And it's just like, y'all, this ain't my business. I don't like this. This smells like shit, tastes like shit, looks like shit. Get this shit out of here.
When we went through, I'm trying to think, when I joined the Marine Corps, I don't think it was MEPS. I think it was after MEPS. I think it was during our initial intake. They had us take a drug test, urine test. And then afterwards they come out and they've already asked us to disclose, if you've ever smoked weed, if you've ever done any drugs, ever in your history, tell us. Then they make us go take the piss test. Then they come back and they go, okay, so now we're the government. We're not your PO. We have different piss tests here and we can tell. So they're like, so if you lied, tell us the truth now and we'll let it slide. But if we discover you're lying from the test, then you're fucked. And it scares everyone into fucking telling the truth, No one knew if they were telling the truth about the test, but yeah.
It's an ethical dilemma that many people on the side of law enforcement and branches of the military and those types of positions find themselves in, because they put yourself in that because they want to know. And
so devil's advocate here. If something did happen, like you're driving and you hadn't smoked all day. You're driving and you get in an accident, something happens, and they try to blame weed. But you're like, but I didn't smoke all day. If they have the test, that test down to like when you smoked might be very beneficial for your defense. But how often would it actually be used that way? It'd probably be used way more offensively.
That's the thing. They'll be able to put it down to the hour, and then they'll say, well, you obviously it is impairing you for a week. So if you've smoked in the last week, it'll be something crazy like that.
Yeah, right.
Like, I know there's there's 8 hour, like certain industries, especially like where you're operating heavy machinery, right? Like there are certain rules in which you cannot drink alcohol at all within a certain time frame of operating that machinery. Like that's just the fucking rules. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if it's 1 drink or 10 drinks. You have to wait that long before your last drink to be able to operate that machinery legally. And so I understand.
And if you get in a wreck, you go drop.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to drop and you're getting fucking fired, buddy. Like that's it. Yeah. Because it's all designed for that. Like they don't want the responsibility. They don't want you fucking up. Like there's reasons
how
for
much it is to insure a forklift driver that drives through a warehouse next to people.
Probably 40x what it was last time.
It's
or one without people.
Yeah. It's pretty wild how like heavy machinery moving near people, the business. I mean, obviously you want everyone to be safe, so you do everything, but
yeah, right. You don't want to cut corners on that kind of shit.
No fucking way.
Especially when it comes to liability.
Yeah.
But what are the are there certain like minimum amount of hours that everyone has to take in safety training? Or I know there are, but like what's that range look like?
For us, it's just all the basic online stuff. Have you ever done like I'm trying to it's
10.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the damn test name is, but yeah. They're simple things. They're nothing, but that's only if now it depends. If you're on the line, there's none of that shit. Because there's nothing near you that can hurt you, nothing that you can do to hurt someone else. But if you're driving a forklift through or unloading semis, and of course you have to, if you watch, like, I can drive a forklift. I cannot drive a forklift like our fucking loaders and unloaders can. That's a freaking ballet watching 14 dudes unload a semi in 2 minutes.
Have you ever driven a 0-turn lawnmower?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like totally different. It's like, oh, I've been driving the car my entire life. This will be easy. You're like,
you seen the forklift wheels with all the little mini wheels, the Una wheels? Where like it's not just 0-turn, you could literally walk side.
Yeah.
I spent a couple of years driving a forklift and being a forklift operator, and I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, a good operator is fucking insane to watch. It's like holy, and like watching them pull a pallet, turn, change the height, and drop it exactly where they fucking needed it with no wasted time,
without like spilling the load or anything like that. And I will say that is amazing, but I'm wondering if the guys that like domino the whole warehouse or put a fucking hole through the back of the way, are those more entertaining? Because those are also very entertaining.
Yeah, those are great. But I'm so glad that shit can't happen to us.
I dropped a big load. That sounds horrible, but the pallet sizes packages that we were moving were probably 5 foot tall, 4x4x5, and we stacked them 4 high. And I tried moving the entire stack of them. You're supposed to take like half of them and then take the next. Yeah, so I took the whole thing. And then as I was backing up, I hit one of the support beams for the building. And the whole thing just started moving, and I just ducked and hoped for the best. So I have almost domino effect.
That's why they're fully enclosed. Or
yep.
Yeah. It's like a safety cage in there. And you're supposed to be belted in. Have you ever done the stand-up ones with the forklifts in the back?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually wrote the software at HEB where the pickers would drive around on those, and they had the Telzons on their hands with the ring scanner. They drive around,
Okay.
and
I've seen those, never operated it.
it would be like, you got to go to this aisle and pick
Yeah.
from this location. They just zzz, and they go, and then
Yeah.
they go and they pick it, and then they had the fucking cellophane wrapper.
And now they're doing it without people involved, which is awesome. In
Yep,
a
that's what I was just gonna
scary
say.
way.
We unload trucks, and that's the last time a person touches a pallet. We have
Mhm.
robots that move the pallets from then on, and
Mhm.
then people unload the pallets, and then it's, man,
Off to the races.
yeah, get it into the hands of a bot and get it out of the way of us and tucked into a corner.
Yeah. Well, you know, as long as it's accessible, because we're gonna sell that shit. But
Yeah.
I found something. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this. There we go.
That is very
that's-
true. Getting shitty pallets.
So, fuck, this video sucked. This is like a TikTok video or something I saw. I'm not on TikTok, so it wasn't that, but maybe it was Instagram. I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you about the Superior Buds 3D printer for frosting cakes, and maybe you can pull it up. Because it
That's cool.
reminds me a lot of something similar that you showed me recently, but on a smaller scale. But I'm like, dude, I remember in the last couple of years, actually, that there seemingly was a lot of cake decorator hiring going on. And I don't know why I noticed this, but I noticed this. And I mean, I saw signs, I saw job postings, I talked to bakeries or you know, that were just like, yeah, no, we share our cake decorator with Kroger and all this stuff. And it can't, I was just like, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if it's just, training more people to be interested in decorating cakes or something, but they definitely found the solution. And it wasn't me. It was this. It's freaking 3D printing cakes, guys. They're 3D, and it looks, I mean, it's perfect. Why have
That
we
is
not
wild.
Why are we not doing this for decades now? Like, guys, and this is crude. This is crude. This is so crude because, I mean, and that looks great. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
this is like a 3D printer with a cake nozzle on it versus if you have one that's like a pump that's, yeah.
Okay, we gotta find it, bro, because there's stores, and I don't know if it's Kroger or what, or Walmart or like one of these stores, but you go grab the white 16x9 sheet cake, right? That's fully white frosted. You pop the top off, you shove it in this machine that's got all the colors, right? It's got all the colors, right? And then you align it, and it puts this laser, it like scans it like a copier, right? Back and forth to make sure it's all lined up.
That's
And
cool.
then it says, all right, now here's, I don't know, probably hundreds of images that you can choose from and text that you can layer on. And you're literally just like photoshopping it, right? Like, right there at the station. And you click done and print or squirt or decorate or whatever the word is that they use.
Go. That's
That's
cool.
And a few minutes later, dude, it does the whole freaking cake for you. It's like, there's so many applications for this type of stuff.
There really is. We watched a video not too long ago about a vending machine for pizzas, and it's full on like stretched fresh dough,
Oh, stretches the
made,
dough.
cooked, the full. I mean, it put the fucking thing in a box, and it comes out like it was just delivered,
Steaming, yeah.
And it was a stone oven pizza in a self-contained kiosk.
And it's probably what, like 8x6 or something like that.
Yep.
It's big, but it's not. It's smaller than a food truck, and it's self-contained. And there's
we actually looked. It's funny because anytime we see a video about this, I always head to Alibaba and go look this machine up. And I went down a rabbit hole with this and found like a cotton candy machine that will make cotton candy flowers, like 5 colors, the whole special shaped cotton candy. All you pick the colors, you pick the flavors. There's 20 designs, and it's just a kiosk. You buy the kiosk for $20,000 and you pump sugar into it, and you turn raw sugar into $10 cotton candy.
You know what? One of the earliest representations of this that I always forget the name of, but I actually remember this time, is the Rhythm CSS.
Mm.
The Rhythm CSS is a irrigation system that is essentially a giant 3D printer injector, kind of like we're talking about, that pumps all your nutrients into these irrigation systems and different lines that go out to different zones at different rooms and feed all your plants at different times and different. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty
It's a
expensive,
badass
and
system.
it's the size of a small bedroom. Like it's big, but it's for commercial irrigation, and that is one of those systems that I think was applied here early on in the cannabis industry, and it's great to see. But I'm thinking now, like, how can this be applied in other areas? Like what are, at least for our industry, where, I mean, sure, decorating, like getting specific amounts of chocolates, gummies, things like that. Like we're kind of already in that mode, the carts, right? Like that's kind of already been done, right? The nutrients, that's been done. I mean, even at the
Yeah.
scale of outdoor agriculture, the planting has been done by, it's
We talked about it a while back about looking. So I worked at a couple of VCs before, and I've thought about funding like startups in the cannabis space. But I started looking at what people were pitching, and it's just
not
it's typical in an entrepreneurial space that pitches are 50-50. Half of it's like, I'm going to be the Uber for cannabis, and I'm going to be the Facebook for cannabis, and I'm going to be the Instagram for cannabis. They pick a
and
word.
I'm $500,000 in debt.
They pick a successful business and shove a niche on it and think that makes a startup, and that doesn't work. So I started looking like, well, where's the innovators? And I couldn't find any innovators. There's not a lot of great innovation in our space yet. Everyone who thinks they're an entrepreneur, it thinks that means growing, processing, selling. I go back to during a gold rush, you sell shovels. So who's trying to build a better shovel? And there's not a lot of people out there. I mean, we've seen this week there's been a couple of good things come out. Canatrol, they have some competition now in the new Vivo Sun Cure Box. They're different levels.
Biggest advancement has to be lighting.
Yeah, LEDs was our big change.
I mean, that's like breakthrough utility level. Get it for free because we need you to use this shit, not HPS level breakthrough innovation.
We have other cool new stuff in like control coming, which is nice. I mean, this isn't that they say affordable, but we have different views on what affordable is for a home grower. So, but this is a full system that competes. I mean, it's basically like the Trollmaster, except it's the next iteration of how it connects. And a lot of it's Wi-Fi. You don't actually have to have wires going to every sensor group, and it frees you up, but while giving you full expandability. I mean, if I wasn't already deep into an ecosystem, I would have been switching to their new ecosystem here. Because GrowLink has proven that they've done great things with AI in their software. I think Green Gene had a really good video going through there because he ran their controller. I think on his last run, his last shed run there.
It seems like everything moving forward is going to have some level of AI or machine learning or super intellect. I've seen a lot of different words used for stuff like this, but it seems like if it's not,
AI has to make it better. It has to not just be plug AI into it because AI is the fucking cool thing right now, which is what 90% of the AIs people are doing with AI right now. Most people are using AI for the buzzword and trying to get extra search clicks and customers that are like, ooh,
so
AI.
What's the differentiation? Because You know, I bought some. We'll call it.
Well, does it add value?
That's not a definition of AI, though.
No.
That's a definition of a lot of different things. But
no, I'm saying if AI is valuable to add to the software, then you should do it. If it adds a value to the software, then it's worth adding AI to it. If it doesn't add a value, if it's just replacing your fucking help desk or something, if it's a one-to-one, it's not really saving you anything. It's not providing a better experience for the customer, then you're not really doing anything.
That's a great perspective. And I think everyone needs to really fucking swallow that whole, especially a lot of different business owners out there, but, or at least people and then, making managerial decisions. But my question is, what is AI to you? Like, is it just a replacement, or is it something that is like a active machine learning kind of, I don't want to say organism, but like,
well,
something that's active, let's call it.
It depends on what aspect you're talking about, right? Like for my grow, my AI is just a learning algorithm that is a tool to help me keep things in the exact parameters I want. So you never know how much your heater is going to kick on if you turn it up 5 degrees versus turn it up 10 degrees, from low to high or whatever your settings are. Because I've got baseboard heating. So the system can learn that for me and knows that, if I run it on medium for 5 minutes, it's better than trying to turn it on low for an hour or high for 2 minutes.
Right. So that's an example of machine learning.
Yep.
But machine learning that's integrated into an AI software, because there's AI software that will manage things, but not change on their own.
In my day-to-day work, I've integrated AI into almost everything I do. And not because I need it, but because it makes me more efficient.
You want to know something funny? Pedro, you got that citrus cream handy?
I do. Somewhere.
Can you sorry to put you on the spot, but if you can find it and you can hold it up to the camera just to show everybody the name of it. It's the light orange one, if that helps. Uh-oh. It's to the right, maybe, by the dab brick. I don't know. I swear you had a citrus cream on your Instagram story earlier today.
I swear I did too.
Is it by your right hand right now, by the dab brick?
Nope.
No. Okay. In any case, that name was developed, if you will, with the help of AI. Believe it or not, this is literally what my process was. Using an AI software. There you go. It's just really about the name. You don't even have to. I was going to show the not rosin. It's not rosin. Everybody, sorry.
That's one of the ones that got some damage. It's crumbly, ready to fall.
I see it bouncing around. Yeah. Is that the citrus cream? Can you show the label on it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So that one there, citrus cream, right? I took a combination of 3 strains. It was raspberry parfait, cobra milk, and clementine. I took those 3 names, and my best description of the flavor of each of those 3 strains described what I was doing, punched it all into an AI software, and said, hey, I want you to give me a list of good names for this strain.
I do that all the time,
right?
Yep.
Right. It's just it's having an administrative assistant, just an assistant always there, just ready to fucking spot off some bullshit, right? So I asked it, and within, I don't know, 5 seconds, it came up with 10 names for me and reasons why those 10 names were good ideas, right? I went through those 10 names. I went back up to the first name it gave me, and I said, hey, that's actually really good, but Citrus Cream Dream doesn't fit on the fucking label. So I'm going to go with Citrus Cream. Also sounds great. And that's where the name came from. I mean, that's the first time I've actually used AI to come up with a name, but it's a great way to brainstorm. It's having an assistant to kind of solve things for you or do things for you or do the research. I mean, like the way they can gather information and just lay it out for you. It's like, okay, now I can analyze it. You know, I can make the decisions based off this information.
The Grok on Twitter, on X, has a a deep think mode that you can turn on that'll actually walk you through like every stage and show you what it's thinking about and then what it's actually doing to solve that stage, and it actually builds a plan and walks through a plan. It's fucking crazy to see how it's thinking something through, searching web pages, researching things.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we asked it for something about one of our websites today, and I can't remember what exactly we asked it for. We asked it for a short or a video script for describing. My business partner's like, dude, check this out. Like, hey, look what I did. Went to use an AI, and sure enough, he got a full freaking video script. And now we take it and we tweak it, and copywriters, and then the video, you know. But it's so wild how quick someone can get a basis of what they wanted. You can describe a very rough idea and get a very well thought out something that you can now pass to someone else.
And you can continue to narrow it in based on your own thought structure, and then you know what I mean? Like, and they can do the same thing, but it's I think the Grok thing is probably a little bit more advanced. But I know ChatGPT has like I think it's called deep research, and I've used that in the past where I've said, you know, just gave it this literally like half-page thing. I'm like, I here's everything I can think about what I want to do here, the targets I want to set, the research I want to look into, the demographics, like I've just all of that stuff, right? And said, good luck. I'll see you in, I don't know, literally like 20, 30 minutes, because it takes that long to do this deep research. And it's going through dozens, if not, you know, probably, I don't think it's 100, but maybe dozens of sources online, and like really scouring it, you know, in kind of real time. And on the other end, I get this fucking dude, this 10-page basically business plan on this mini topic that I'm, you know, this avenue I want to go down. And it's like, let's go, you know.
I've even found like, and it's so like, I do a lot of back-end development. So I'm coding the back-end servers that are running the shit in the background, not the stuff that renders the actual web page. I have a couple of people down on my team that I let do that. I can do it, but you don't usually want me to lay out web pages. I'm a programmer.
Dude, UI programmers, they don't know.
No. Very different skill
design people do that. Let the fucking nerds.
But I'm also fucking way OCD with my front end, so I know exactly what I want, or I can tell you when I don't like something, but I don't know exactly what I do want. You know, it's like, well, just keep fucking it up and sooner or later we'll land on what we want. And my business partner's the same way. We're both just so for rapid iteration now. I can pop up an idea, go type it in, and literally tell Grok, like, I'm using this library, this version, I'm using this technology and this technology. Give me a solution, and it will shit out the answer. And sometimes it even makes mistakes, which is funny because I can tell it, like, hey, this isn't working. And it'll be like, oh, you know what? You're right. And it'll fix its own mistake. It's fucking wild. You just have to know how to use it as a tool. Like, it makes me way more effective than I ever was before. These are problems I could have solved that would have taken me an hour that I'm doing in 30 seconds now.
That's what I'm saying. It's the value I'm getting out of it is worth a salaried position for someone. But
it's an efficiency tool for sure.
Yes.
And yet there are still people, and I'm one of them, that has never yet intentionally used AI.
It's dude, it is. Here's the equivalent. It would be like not okay. So there was a point at which we didn't have social media, and then we did have social media. A lot of people didn't get on that train right away.
Yeah,
but
the person that
everyone,
yeah.
But eventually everyone got on that train in one way or another. It's like that. It's like,
to me, it reminds me of my dad that won't get Instagram. That just refuses to get IG.
Dude, my dad won't respond to text. He's like, I'm gonna call you. Like, he's that.
Yep, it kind of makes me feel old and not using it, but You know, I don't necessarily want to say that I'm afraid of it, but I don't know.
Just think of
I
it
think
as
it's
a tool.
inevitable. It's going to be part of something that you do on a daily basis. It's just little ways that you won't realize how much it's making your life better. Those are the ones that it's the invisible benefits that really you should never see it. You know.
Well, I
Now,
think when you type in
Yes.
something on Google, it gives you that first top description. I believe that's AI. It
yes. Well, I'm actually in a Google beta right now where when I search, I also have an AI mode. I can flip to an entire AI mode, which gives me Chat GPT style chat mode, but for Google Gemini. It's the same thing I get on Grok. So, it's just I have all three of them that I've used, but
It's going to replace Google. It's going to replace what we
Mhm.
consider, like, ever since the days of Yahoo, you know what I mean, and Ask Jeeves, and like all of that we've been for, dude, 20, almost 25 years, we've been in this mode of a search bar that we try to find
I
something, and then we go through the results that have been organized for us by someone else based on whatever algorithm they decide today, right? Now it's like it's still based on an algorithm that's constantly changing, but in the ideas that it's getting smarter. It's not just based on some department's decisions. It's actually this machine learning part of it actually makes it smarter, right? And so now we're not just searching for stuff online, we're asking something to give us results. And like that is a lot different.
Has
well,
anybody ever asked it how to make like live hash rosin?
We should do that.
it
Right
gives
now.
you a full breakdown. It's really you'd be surprised at how accurate it is.
Over a year and a half ago on MBGS, we did it live for the first time. We asked, I don't actually even know which AI it was, because
Well,
I
we'll
don't
do it
think it
here
was
in just a
ChatGPT.
second. We can
But
recreate it.
so this is back in the days when Baked Pone was hosting still, and they were all into Magic the Gathering, or I don't know, whatever fucking card games they're into, right? And I was just like, well, I was Bard. It was Bard. Remember when it was called Bard? I'm like, well, let's ask it a question. Like, I'm like, why don't we have it make one of those like games you guys play or something, And they're like, oh, it's called this, it's like a synopsis for the fucking game, whatever. And so I said those words and said, but make it about weed. And dude, it just almost like within 20 seconds, and this is, slow nowadays, but this is fast back then, right? All of it 18 months ago or something. It spit out this like 2, 3, 4 page long, basically gameplay, full setup, GM, everything. Like they're ready to go. They've got a storyline, they've got a rule set. Like, this is again 18 months ago, and we all know
And
how that
And Grok is a
technology cycle
whole
works.
lot bigger than anything we had 18 months ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you were talking about search, though. So, I built a good chunk of my career on search marketing. That's what I did. I was good at SEO. That's why my startups like destroyed the bigger competition, is because I ranked number one. I took all the business. And I made a good name for myself of being really good at searching Google also. Like I could find anything on Google and really talking like 10-word searches and really narrowing shit right down and getting the exact answer I wanted. But it took a couple tries, right? I've even found myself switching. I'm doing dev stuff. Fuck that. Why am I going to search, go to Stack Overflow, read 20 forum topics, and still not get the right fucking answer?
Best answer. Try it. It fucking doesn't work. Now I got to go to some other
Or
forum.
the answer they give me was for 2 frameworks ago, and now that shit, it doesn't have that command anymore. Some dumb shit. So now I can go to Grok, and it's like it's incredibly useful for a lot of tasks.
It's an increase in efficiency, and anybody is able to use it. It doesn't take long to learn it, and you'll be blown away by the things you'll be able to accomplish with it at your side.
So
yeah, the deep search thing, man, that shit. Even like there's the image creation stuff, like all that. I mean,
I think
even
Grok
less than
sucks at
12.
images, but
Dude, they kind of. I mean,
Midjourney
they got the hands figured out yet?
yes, that's
Okay.
mostly the video stuff they're doing now is really scary.
Bro,
they're getting
all the
good.
world leaders dancing together like on a
Yeah.
catwalk. It's just like, what is happening?
Okay, so we were talking about. I'm trying to think of the best way to ask the question of how to make live hash rosin. But
Say,
just do it stupidly. Do it like a beginner would.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a freezer full of fresh frozen cannabis.
Oh, can't you just say, how do you make?
Well, it'll tell you how to grow and shit too, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you got to be careful.
We want to narrow it down.
I want to tell it I already have weed.
Yeah. You can get very vague with it, Pedro, but this is the thing. Like, once you start understanding how to like ask it the right questions, it will just get so specific with you that it'll just dump, it'll data dump on you.
So you need.
So how accurate is this, boys?
Look, it even says you need lots of ice, cold water, bubble bags. It wants you to have 220, 160, 73, and 25. Two buckets. Oh, they did the drill in a paint mixer for large batches. Is cheesecloths, so they're no freeze dryer. Spooner card, clean workspace.
Well, yeah, bro, you didn't tell it you had a fucking
no, I know.
$5,000
So now,
freeze dryer.
right? So it tells you to set up the bubble bags.
No cold room. Do it in your bathroom.
I mean, for any basic SOP, right? Like, then you can then go in and customize it or edit it or whatever. But like for 5 seconds, this is crazy.
Stay cold.
Yeah, I would agree. This takes a day consultation and turns it into an hour or two.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
now BHO. Now BHO. Now BHO.
Oh, wait, one more. One more real quick. So I have a freeze dryer. How can I dry my hash with that?
Oh, look at that. Talking about terpenes right off the bat, dude. That first sentence at the top talks about terps.
Pre-chill to ensure it's ready.
Okay.
Parchment paper, silicone. Avoid using plastic.
Spread it thinly.
And evenly. Yeah, don't overlap.
To 24 hours.
Aim for a drying temperature below 80 to preserve terpenes. A typical cycle for wet hash takes 12 to 24 hours, depending on the moisture content and batch size. Airtight glass container.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I mean,
it's a start. Like, and if you know that you want to keep drilling in, you can give it a little bit more detail, a little bit more. And like he said, like
look at the recommendations, different freeze dryer models, rosin pressing techniques. Like, it's gonna just walk you through this, dude.
Oh yeah. So I could say I have a Harvest Right home model. What settings should I use?
15 web pages. 15 sources in 5 seconds. Not neat.
It tells you to make sure you're up to 5.1.19 or newer. Recent updates allowed home models to reach shelf temps as low as 5 degrees. So the new update brings the shelf temp way down. Oh, my dongle's out plugged into the freeze dryer. If the firmware limits you to higher temps, request the pharmaceutical firmware. So it's just, I'm on a home and it even tells you, go get the pharmaceutical firmware because it doesn't matter. Yeah, the model has more precise temperature control, but with the updated firmware, the home model can work effectively. Pre-chill the trays. Freeze temp to -20 to -30. Shelf temp to 35 or as low as your firmware allows. Dry time 12 to 24. Initial drive 12 to 16. Oh, and you disable the auto dry mode. And use time mode for consistency. Then you can do that. It even explains extra dry time.
I mean, look at this. It's crazy.
Oh wait, it even tells you to tilt the unit so when it drains, when you do your thaw.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
I'm
in-depth,
learning from this.
right?
Yeah, I'm learning from this. Holy shit.
Like, look at smell the condenser ice after a run. Strong odors indicate lost terpenes due to high temps. Like, that's just a cool little trick you don't fucking hear from a lot of people.
Can you ask it to show its sources? Because it's got 15 sources. Can you have it list it?
There's this one. There's this
Harvest
one.
right. Harvest right.
Trim leaf.
Keep going. I want to see these forums, Reddit. I mean, oh, there you go. Future 4200.
Yep.
That's a good source.
The press club. So, I mean, like, press
Hashtag.
club, hashtag. You're talking companies that aren't like 5-6 years old even. And it found their website, knows about them, associates them with hash.
All right, ask it.
Yep, we're gonna do new chat so we don't contaminate my solvent lists.
Oh my Atlanta! All right,
No,
he's got to
cross
save that, ladies and gentlemen. He's got some SOPs to share. All right, say Grok. Can you please provide us with the?
Before I type this real quick, someone asked the question the other day, said how you I no longer judge people how they treat their server at a restaurant. I judge them by how they treat their AI. And I'm like, you know what? It's weird because I find myself actually asking a question when you can literally just say, hey, fucking do this and it will.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, can you please do this for, I don't know why. I just type it like I'm talking to a person.
Because it's eventually going to be a person. Okay. So,
Right.
can you please provide us with the best way to capture the essence of a cannabis plant on the day of harvest through the process of BHO?
Should we call it BHO or should we call it solvent-based extraction?
Call it BHO.
Okay. That's it?
Yep.
Let's see what she says. It knows what BHO is.
It's listening. Well, the fact that it says start with fresh frozen cannabis tells me.
Yeah, and I started a new chat, so there's no history of fresh frozen discussion in this.
Mm-hmm. Early in the morning when terpene content is highest. Dude, I love this, dude. This is better SOPs than you're going to get from 99% of people out there. Because it's taking 99% of people out there and putting it like, yeah. Flash freeze the buzz.
Keep the sugar leaves.
Yep. High quality starting material, fire in, fire out. Sucker. I'm sure it was underrated. Man, it's to each their own on that one, but yeah, it's important.
Use a closed loop.
So I said BHO, so it's obviously just going to focus on one single solvent, but yeah, dewaxing column. Remove those lipids and waxes.
Yep. Instrument grade. It wants you to
Or
stay.
you know what though? It didn't say anything about distilling your solvent. I didn't see anything about that in there.
Well, are we there yet?
Well, it would have been before this, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I do like that it's telling you like serious cold.
Oh yeah. Maximum essence. That's amazing. 80 to 100 grams per run for small systems. Yeah, that is. 15 to 25% yield by weight. That's where they're fucking wrong. So that's one. Okay, so that's one spot where we found they're getting their percentages wrong, because that's based on dried flour weight. Fresh frozen is going to contain 80% water weight. So that means that 80% of that 25% or 20% is going to be water weight, so that you're actually only going to get a return of 5%, because you don't want that water obviously in your final extract. So that's not accurate, but
yeah, that's one thing I've noticed is that it'll mix up really close topics sometimes still.
you have to double check it, dude.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Oh yeah. You can't, I would not build a nuclear reactor with an AI right now. Just saying, but they're doing some cool shit.
It can learn for us and help us build better shit right now, but it can't control things, like.
Right.
Well,
it's actually funny.
We can program it to control things.
one of the first software projects I sold was a 3D engine, and I had a clause in my license that said you would do nothing with my software that controlled weapons or nuclear stuff, because I'm not responsible if my software crashes and you kill people. Like, don't come bitching at me. Avoid exceeding 35C.
So different AI.
Sorry, Pedro. I'm sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize it. Can you scroll up to 5? What was that? Was that recovery? Purge thoroughly but gently. Okay. That's you brought up the 95 degrees, and I thought that was important. They're talking about flipping like slabs and stuff in this too, spreading it thinly on parchment. So this is, maybe for shatter.
They're still talking vacuum oven here.
Right. And I mean, spreading it, watching bubbling. This is.
This is where it starts to get a little confused by. I'm sure that. How to say, when washing, there's really only one process, right? Everyone follows the same 3-4 steps when you're making hash, when you're washing. But with BHO, there's a lot of variations over the years of different systems and different equipment in different ways, and I feel like that's probably confusing it right now. If we were to tell it from the start that we were using a closed loop, I bet it would have stayed in closed loop and we would have probably had better answer. That's that prompt engineering.
You're probably, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right.
It's learning how to dial it in and
dude, it's asking the right questions. It's like it's like the troll Google bridge, man. Yeah, it is.
Early Google, no one could find fucking anything.
That's why I didn't use early Google. I was still on that Yahoo shit. I'm like, dude,
yeah, my mom went to Google and typed yahoo.com into Google search to get to Yahoo. That's how my mom went to fucking used her Google. Like, I would change her homepage and she would Google Yahoo to get back.
Yep. That's awesome. That was so 2009 and before, but not after.
But it's really interesting, some of the things you can do with this.
Okay, should mirror the fresh bud, fruity pine, diesel, etc. Putting on strain. Yeah, you're right. Shatter, sauce, or butter. I mean, you're not getting shatter out of live resin. And if you got shatter out of live resin, you just destroyed all your terpenes probably. But potency, I think 70 to 90% is maybe a little bit on the high end. Because I've seen it in the low 60s before. Again, plus or minus 10%, so who knows. But 1 to 10% terpenes, I mean, that's definitely low on where I'm coming from. I mean, it's usually like 4 to 12. Definitely been higher, but like I would say that's kind of average is like the 4 to 12. Yeah, no,
I like
mean,
that
it's
it keeps reusing that you said plants essence and it keeps reusing it.
that's see again, like if you prompt it to do certain things and focus on certain things, talk about closed loop system. I mean, if you asked it about like for Groli's Clementine, it might even like actually give you some details. You know, I don't know. I've never tried anything like that, but
I mean, hold on, if I can spell.
you gotta roll your R's, dude.
Yeah, I can't spell Clementine.
You got me to paste. I love it. I'll tell you about the cups and stuff probably, but oh, I see that. Yeah.
But it does know a brand focused on medical and recreational cannabis apparel and media.
Yeah,
They're looking for a cannabis strain. Potentially grown or branded by Fagroli.
Look, it's still talking about the harvest day essence. Do you see that? At the bottom of this paragraph below Clementine, about Clementine.
Oh, it's still, yeah. I didn't start a new.
Terpenoline. There you go.
And it's telling like, oh, but it's going to be ideal.
Dude, all right, I know this is pulling it from our website. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it took first place for in 2015. It did. 4 years before I won it, it won the same fucking same cup.
And then wait, okay. Oh.
Frigoli Connection. There you go. Cannabis lifestyle brand, not a breeder or dispensary. Oh, well, I got that wrong. I definitely.
That's funny. But you can also just do this.
Oh, we're going down a freaking rabbit hole right now. I don't know if I like where this ends.
You wanted the AI to dig into your life. Here you go.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week on Variables.
High quality cannabis concentrate, likely a high terpene full spectrum extract from the Clementine strain. It won first place at the sativa concentrate category 2019 Cannabis Cup.
I'll take that.
You right?
So weird to see. I've done this with so many things, but I've never done it with myself. Oh, there you go. It did. That's accurate. God, how many freaking sources did this use? All right. That's enough. All right, we can get off this.
Look, it just keeps going.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Sources.
AI is insane.
What one of my favorite parts though about Grok is that it's completely unfiltered. So they put no walls on it. So you can have it like talk shit to you and it will.
Yeah, like the what is it called? Something mode. Not shit talking mode, but like
yeah. Yeah, basically it was shit talking mode. I can't remember what they called it. I
haven't used that yet, but I've like listened to it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
They're just rude back to you. It's entertaining.
I had it talk like a pirate to me once. And then like 3 days, just because someone said it on, Twitter, and I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. So I did it. Brand new chat, multiple days later, asked it a programming question. It responded as a fucking pirate. So the whole day,
awesome.
Grok was just a pirate to me. And then the next day, it decided to be a wizard.
Oh,
so
that's
thankfully it's
terrifying.
a little better than that. Yeah. it was pretty interesting. It has some personality problems some days.
Pedro, you ever used anything like this?
Yeah, I've got a whole box of Slurper mops right here.
What's your favorite like style? Because not those. I really like these ones. These ones at the bottom soak it up, and at the top, like kind of get the crevices, man.
Yeah, I like
these,
I like the old school glob mops, but sometimes for these slurpers and benders, the blenders, the bendy kind of.
Yes. So that's what I don't like about. I mean, that's what I like the most about Q-tips is they feel cheap compared to these, and that they just go anywhere you shove them, But there's some that are like, it's it's nice for the like the bottom of the bowl kind of thing, the bottom of the banger.
Yeah, I mean, I only use glob mops.
Really,
I was
I'm
hated
not
that,
sponsored by them, but yeah.
Q-tips always left like the fucking hairs would pull off.
they can, yeah.
Versus like a glob mop, it's more like a sponge. I don't even know how to describe it. It's not the same material as like a Q-tip.
The problem is the Q-tips only really work well with high quality live resin, because when you're using something like a rosin, that's going to leave behind some.
I have some bigger ones that I got that are like longer that I had to use because I got a deeper banger, and the glob mops are just too short. Like you're hanging onto the end to fucking suck it up.
Burning your fingernails. Like,
Yeah.
I hate that too. Oh, I had such a good one. I don't think I have them anymore. Did you guys ever see my the Fergoli 45 caliber fucking glob mops?
No.
Q-tips.
Uh-uh.
They're like that long.
Oh wow.
They're like that big around. They go in your banger and it hits the whole wall. It's the same time. Yeah, the whole thing. It's
you
like
twist
the
it
size
to
of your
clean
thing.
it.
It's like, yeah, like a Q-tip for your ear is this. It's the same size.
That's great.
Yeah, those things are fun. I have no idea where those went, but the problem with them, they're like so densely packed, they don't actually soak shit up. You know what I mean? So you got to end up using more than one, and it's like these things are expensive. So
It's kind of a waste at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, but
like a glob mop, I liked because you can just soak up with one side, then you flip and you scrub with the other.
Yeah.
But I've also found
use.
like some of the bamboo it depends. I buy a lot of glob mops. I buy them in the big case of them. And sometimes I'll have this one pack of them where I swear all the bamboo's half the size and it snaps really easy or just shitty. Just had random packs like that. Oh, nice. Oh, focus.
It's a gram and a half, hand rolled, freshly hand rolled. Garlic punch, doink.
That's awesome.
These are great, man. They smoke so well, burn so great. I wish I could roll like this. I'm over here with my freaking raw cones. You know what I mean? In any case,
I've actually been seeing a lot of people using the glass tips now on their doinks, which is just kind of like. And then I saw someone. I mean, the price of them just for the tips now, and I'm like, you're getting into rigged pricing territory with some tips. Yeah,
buddy, we had them at our table. We had like 20 of them at our table. They're wild, and people are into it, and I get it. I there's just something for everyone.
Yep,
guys. Next week is going to be, I guess, the lead into 420. So I don't know if you remember what we did last year, but I think we should try to pull something off like that again. And I'm going to forget more. I still have so many thank yous to do, but another one I just remembered, not just remembered, I remembered again for the second time this show, just haven't got it out yet, is Pelly. I saw Pelly Player was at the freaking Hash Bash Cup, came by, had a trio of some fresh pressed Pelly rosin, and I tried them all, and I brought some with me. It's fire. And you know what? I found
And
I
we'll
found
be
two
there.
guys that I'll smoke some rosin from. So thank you guys, thank you guys for doing it right. And just fucking bring some fire to the
A
table.
couple weeks here in Michigan, 2 weeks from tomorrow. His rosin launches in Michigan.
Let's go. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great night.
Have a good one, everybody.